Welcome back to Fresh Outlook. I'm Mia Toschi. Well, thousands of supporters of an immigration overhaul held rallies in 40 states, trying to pressure Congress to focus on passing a pathway to citizenship for millions of immigrants who are in the U.S. illegally. But with all the turmoil on the Hill, is momentum slipping away for Congress to act this year? Let's have a look.
Protesters converged on the National Mall on Tuesday to call on Republicans to hold a vote on a stalled immigration reform bill. At least 8 House Democrats were among about 200 people arrested after they blocked a main street near the Capitol.
Every human being deserves to be treated with dignity and respect, and it's time for the U.S. government to take action and stop deportation of families and the separation of families.
I've been here for 25 years and I haven't been able to obtain documents. I don't know why Congress has denied us. I've dedicated all my life to living a productive life.
Police refused to identify those arrested. But pictures of the arrests show Representatives Charles Rangel and Luis Gutierrez being handcuffed and escorted away by police. Witnesses say House Democrats Raul Grijalva, Keith Ellison, John Crowley, Al Green, Jan Schakowsky, and John Lewis were also arrested. Capitol Police say those arrested will be charged with crowding, obstructing, and incommoding. An immigration bill is stuck in the House, and its prospects have dwindled as lawmakers are preoccupied with the government shutdown and budget talk. The rally's organizers hoped to ramp up pressure to bring the measure to a vote.
And it was called Camino Americano, the Rally for Immigrant Dignity and Respect. Now, supporters say this rally is for our families, our communities, and for our country. Attorney John Patty now joins us along with former White House aide Dee Dee Benkie and media analyst Jackie Guzda. And nice to see you, John.
Mia, great to see you.
And of course, nice to see you girls too. But we want to talk about this. And I said this is for our America. So I wanted to go take those words right there and say, whose America was this rally for? Dee Dee, I'm going to start with you.
Well, obviously, it's to promote amnesty, which Republicans are never going to go for. I mean, the good news about the shutdown is it really has put all of this on the back burner, which I think is a good thing. Amnesty's bad. And right now, there are enough votes in the Congress and the Republicans, but they're not going to move it forward. So I just think, it shouldn't move forward in that way.
Jackie?
I think you missed the beginning of that tape.
No, I didn't.
It said that it was about dignity and respect. It's about people getting citizenship who work hard for this country and
the way
pay
they want to
into
do
our
it is through
tax
amnesty,
system.
and that's the wrong way.
That's insane.
That's not a dignified way of doing it.
Well, John,
Yes.
provide us with a voice of...
I'm going to give you the final result here, and it was about amnesty, but the problem remains, is that we own this problem. We let these people come over, we didn't stop them at the border, and we have to give them a path. And that path has to be more difficult than the people who waited in line the right way. So I'm very sensitive. I don't like the fact that this rally happened when dead bodies were coming in of our soldiers and they weren't being funded. That's disgusting. And for that matter, they should keep Charlie Rangel in jail just on that alone.
I agree. Well done. Well stated.
But it is a problem, Mia.
Well, yeah, well, it's absolutely. We have 40 million immigrants in this country, 11 million illegally. I'm just going to give you another statistic also. In 1960, and this is where, maybe something, as you said, should have been done earlier, but in 1960, there were fewer than 1 million immigrants from Latin America. There are now more than 22 million. And so where do you go from here? How do we begin to solve this problem? Obviously, George Bush tried to do so, and now President Obama has this on his agenda. Will we see it move forward with all that's happening on the Hill? I'll start with that question.
I don't think so. It's too political. There's it always reminds me of the gangs in New York, where the guy's waiting when the ships come in, vote for the Democratic Party, and he gives them $1 or something. I think until they pull it out of the politics and sit down and come up with a solution, it's going to be one party trying to take advantage of these people versus another party. And the other party who's not on the side of just bringing them in free and clear, they're the racists, they're this, they're that, and it's not right. It's not going to get done. It's a problem. We own it. Let's create a solution to this that is not political. that transcends political lines here.
Well, we did have that. We had the Gang of Eight, which was a bipartisan committee who tried to do immigration reform. Now, that's kind of petered out and put under the rug that we have these other problems. But what you're talking about is not being political. Yes, we did that in a Congress that no longer gets along. So that has been worked upon.
Dee Dee, do you think that we'll see any kind of immigration reform this year?
Nada. Forget
Nothing?
it. It's dead on arrival. I mean, you know, and I do think you're correct about, you know, it's sort of sad there's this big party going on when, you know, I had the soldiers that couldn't get in the country and didn't have the funding, and that should have been number one. But that's understandable that it's important to them. But I'm sorry, amnesty is not fair. What about these people who have waited in line? They've done it the right way. They filled out the paperwork. They've gone through the classes. So why should these people get a free pass? It's not fair.
What do you think the solution is then?
Well, I tell you what, the devil's in the details, and I love Marco Rubio. I think he has some very good ideas. However, I mean, it is a multi-tier, multi-layer issue because there has to be a path, there has to be a way of making this work, not just giving a pass of some sort, as in maybe paying the back taxes, perhaps working, perhaps going to the military. I mean, there should be a way, but not a free pass. A path, perhaps, an earned path, but not a free pass.
Well, let me ask you, all three of you, this. Obviously, George Bush tried to tackle this issue, and now President Obama. So it seems that both Republicans and Democrats seem to not have a clear grasp as to what to do. So I understand what you're saying about Marco Rubio, but he has to obviously be elected as well. But where do we go from here?
Well, we have brought that up. Look at the DREAM Act. The DREAM Act is to bring into citizenship children that are born to foreign parents here on this soil. They grew up, they went to schools here, but now they can't get into certain colleges. They can't get licenses. In the state of Arizona, they're not allowed to drive, so they can go to college or go to their job. We should take a second look at the DREAM Act, which brings these kids along. And let me tell you, it really bothers me the way you are using language here. You're talking about these people, and we're laughing, and you're wrapping yourself in the flag that what's really important.
Yeah, the American flag.
Let me finish.
USA's first. America first. Sorry.
Too. And it's those
well, then
people
act like it.
too, which I'm
I
trying
don't know
to
what the
point out
political
to you.
correct term is, but it's those people. They're
is.
here.
They're not
and we
Americans.
offer them the most respect. I
You
think
have
the
not.
world
No,
of them.
I'm listening to you talk, and it has been a little less than respectful. These people came over, you know,
illegally.
Who's pandering now?
Illegally.
No
Wait.
human being is illegal, and that's what I
They're
believe.
illegal
Go to
aliens. What are you
Mexico.
talking about? Of course they're illegal. What about our children first? I mean, really, I'm sorry, but that's not right.
I don't see
America
that's
first.
the problem, is that you're putting our American.
Of course.
I get a
That's
free
right.
pass because my grandmother came over here at the age of 14.
Well, let's talk about that though. Why aren't the new immigrants assimilating like generations beforehand?
Exactly.
I thought about this driving up. My father is an immigrant from Sicily. My great-grandfather is an immigrant from Germany. My father did not speak Italian because his children were going to learn English.
Absolutely.
And English was going to be their culture. That's not what you have today. You have little colonies. And while it's good, while it's safe, it's not the right thing. I had a client yesterday, and he has a work visa. He's a great man. He provides for his family. And I told him, number one, master English. Become part of the American culture. Now, was that demeaning?
All right, so let
was
me
that
answer.
bad advice?
Wait. I want to go back to that. Should immigrants should it be a requirement to learn English?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay.
That should be the
Absolutely.
official language. I don't know why it isn't.
You know what?
Jackie,
You're taking-
just answer that question.
Okay, you're taking a complicated question and turning it into a yes or no. Let me explain. As an elementary school teacher in the Los Angeles Unified School District, where we had 82 recognized languages at the time, I was put into a classroom of Spanish-speaking children.
It's a yes or no question.
No, it's not, and that's the problem, because it's not yes or no. At what
Going to
point do
object
you...
at this point.
No.
Avoiding the
Let me
question.
just finish this.
The answer is yes.
The answer is yes.
That's right. I'll
Can I
answer my
finish
client.
now? Because my kids spoke both Spanish and English. We had the words of like chair, see a chair, written in a card there. We were trying to assimilate. This is a bigger problem than just saying, oh, those people, they don't speak English.
But that's not
like
what.
you
No,
just
that's not what I
did.
asked. What I asked very specifically was, should it be a requirement to speak English after, say, 3 years? I mean, you have a certain timeline if you're going to come into this country.
In order to draft contracts, understand contracts, conduct business, excel in what we consider the American experience.
dysfunction?
You will not be able to do that if you refuse to speak English, you don't want to speak English,
Then don't
or
be
you
here,
haven't
exactly.
learned English.
All right, I'm going to still hold Jackie to this. It's a yes or no question. I just wanted to see where you stand on that. I understand your background, but yes or no?
I can't answer it honestly because what is appropriate for a 3-year-old, a 15-year-old, and a 25-year-old up is a very different answer when it comes to learning a language. When at 3 or 5, you can't even grasp arithmetic.
Mia, I went to Austria this past summer. I went there with my family. I learned the German language fluently because if something was going to happen, I wanted to go to the hospital, be able to communicate with the doctor, pull a policeman over if I needed help. Why not, I practice what you preach, why not have the same standard here? Why not come here, learn the language?
People are learning the language over here.
Not well enough.
Not within your scope of things.
No, it's not quite the
How do you
same
know
as it
my
was
scope?
when you had a lot of the immigrants back in the 50s, the 60s, and you had a large influx. There's plenty of studies that will show that the immigrants wanted to be assimilated into American culture.
I understand that, Mia, but what I'm saying is that you're coming in with these blinders. You live in New York. You're saying, oh, there's
We
little.
don't have blinders,
Let
Jackie.
me finish.
Stop saying
We're saying
that.
there's. I'm just saying what you said, John. There's little pockets of people. They won't speak English. That has not been my
I
experience.
say colonies, by the way.
Colonies of
Yes.
people who do not speak English. That has not been my
If you want
experience.
to be American, you should work for it. You should speak English.
That's
you
right.
should want to be
Work
American.
for it. Are you
should
saying
learn-
that they don't
Yes.
work?
Learn
Some
the
don't.
history.
No.
Learn the history. Be part of
To
the
do it,
culture.
when you do it
Understand where we
legally,
came
they take
from.
classes, they learn English, they,
And
you know,
so
they
were
want
my
to be
kids.
Americans.
But there are
LA.
also some wonderful immigrants as well. But absolutely.
I've met the mostly all of the immigrants I've met are wonderful, and they are hardworking. But I want them to do more. I want them to come into our community. Let's all be American,
But they're
not Mexican
illegal.
American.
Do it the right way.
Yes.
They're illegal. Go back and do it the right way and get in line before behind the people that are doing it the right way. I'm sorry.
think-
All right, well,
May I
we
share
are
a
obviously
story?
got a lot of different opinions on this one, and we are out of time for this segment, but don't go away, everyone, and stay with us. We have much more here on Fresh Outlook. Coming up next, we'll take a look at a violent attack on a family on New York's Upper West Side by a gang of motorcycle riders that included police officers. Was this an isolated case of some cowardly cops, or is violence with the men and women in blue on the rise?